On today's show,
Harrison Gymnasium was built in the 50s and really hasn't changed. You can see the architect up top. It's just a gorgeous gym. We've updated the windows in the last couple years. We've got a tremendous maintenance staff here at Labette County High School that really make this. But, you know, a lot of the artwork's been here a long time. And you know, the best part about this gym is how loud it gets.
And we're back. Kansas Sports Chatter is back on the airwaves, on the YouTubes, whatever you call it. My name is Cole Reif. Welcome into our statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Again, the winter sports winding down, spring sports right around the corner. Huge weekend this past weekend with state wrestling, big time events. And like, I would love now that it's really easy to follow along, whether it's through like social media updates, you know, a number of accounts that you can follow, you know, schools keeping you abreast of everything that's going on. There's live streams available. So it's just really easy and just a lot of intense matches, just what you like at the state meets. So congratulations to all the teams that were able to compete and also the individuals that competed and had success at the state meet for wrestling at multiple sites throughout the states. Look at the show today. We got our guests lined up. Carlos Martinez, Reece Carmichael, Damien Whillock of Halstead basketball will have our leadoff question. Scott Paske, staff writer for KSHSAA Covered, was able to cover the state swim meet for the boys' side of things in the Kansas City area last month. He'll recap that event. And Fritz, Blue Valley North girls basketball coach, a lot of wins, 5 state championships. She's on the show. Bradley Argabright, who we had a conversation with, who might be the busiest man in the states, head football, head basketball, head track and field coach at Labette County. He's going to give us a great tour of the historic gym at Labette County. Scott Goering, Prairie, 20 wins now on the season, ready for their sub-state championship game for Prairie girls basketball. He's on the show. And Mason Belcher, University of St. Mary men's basketball team, and from Maize High School, will be our next level talents at the end of the show. Let's get things rolling with the leadoff question. It's today's leadoff question with Carlos Martinez from Halstead, a basketball team. And Carlos, the question, what do you remember about your first varsity game?
I remember it was a intense game. It was a close game. We were going back and forth, and teams were pressuring each other, and it was a good game.
What were your nerves like going into that game?
I was pretty nervous because it was my first game, my first varsity game, and the pressure, just that, like, teams getting up on you, because I never played varsity before. So,
at what point during the game did you feel like you kind of settled in? Was there a certain moment?
About the second quarter of the game, after the first quarter went by.
Any highlights or any moments in that game that stand out that you remember?
Getting my teammates, or finding my teammates opens, getting some shots, getting a little layup.
What was the transition like from that first game to like the next game? Were you more calm, I guess, for the second game?
Yes, sir. I was more calm. I was already knowing a little bit what to expect, the pressure on defense, and yeah.
Give me your assessment of your game as far as how you've improved from like that very first varsity game to now.
I've been scoring more, driving, kicking out more, finding my teammates open.
That is Carlos Martinez with Halstead basketball. Today's leadoff question with Reece Carmichael, a member of the Halstead basketball team. Reece, the question, what do you remember about your first varsity game?
My first varsity game was really tough because I remember getting subbed into the game and I had like tunnel vision and all I could see was down to the defender's feet, and I was trying to get the ball out of my hands as fast as I could. And the first possession turned into a turnover and a layup. So,
do you remember like who was the opponent?
I'm pretty sure we played Smoky Valley.
Okay, so what were your nerves like before that game even started, even that day?
It was terrible. I was feeling like I was gonna puke all day, and I like bite my nails when I get nervous, and my fingers were bleeding, and it was bad.
Well, what point so after that turnover, was there a point where you kind of settled in and you felt a little bit better?
I never really settled in on that game, but it got to a point where I could like hold the ball more comfortably than the first time I did.
What does it take for you to kind of settle in now, even after all these, after a couple of years, but like, what's it take for you to kind of settle into a game?
Right now it just starts at tip off and getting that first possession out of the way. And then it's just playing basketball at that point. How
have you improved from that first game to now?
I've improved a lot. My role has changed so much. When my first varsity start, my role was to play good defense and pass the ball and not score as much. And this year it's a little bit more scoring and kind of being the leader of the team and telling everybody what they need to do. And
like, how much responsibility you kind of take in that, just, being a leader this year?
It's a lot of responsibility. I've learned that. It's a very big role to take on this year, but it's been fun.
That's Reece Carmichael with Halstead basketball. Today's leadoff question with Damien Whillock, a member of the Halstead basketball team. Damien, the question, what do you remember about your first varsity game?
My very first varsity game. I remember being very nervous during the day and just thinking about the whole game, how I'm going to play, and just if we're going to win or not.
What was it like once you got into the game?
Once I got into the game, very loud, lights and everything, very new to me. And after the tip-off, I still kind of was nervous, but then after I made a shot, the nerves started going away, and I started getting comfortable.
All right, so what was that shot? What was your first shot? Do you remember it? That made it?
I think it was a corner three, I think. I missed two before, I think. But then once I made that one, I felt good.
Any other highlights or moments of that ball game that stand out to you?
I made some shots I didn't think I would make, and I kept shooting, and that's really it.
For you now, how calm are you going into games? Is that's something that's been consistent now as you've gotten older?
Yeah, ever since now, I don't really get as nervous as much, and as soon as tip-off goes off, I just play any normal game.
Have you rewatched that first game? Have you ever gone back and rewatched that game?
I rewatched it right after we played, but not recently, no.
For your individual game, how have you improved from freshman year to now?
Freshman year, I didn't really shoot the ball much and just kind of stayed back a little bit, just waiting and not doing much about it. And this year, I think I've done a lot more.
That's Damien Whillock, a member of the Halstead basketball team, with our leadoff question. Again, Carlos Martinez, Reece Carmichael, and Damien Whillock of Halstead basketball joining us for our leadoff question. Thanks in part to a few of our sponsors. Meyers Enterprises, stand out from the noise. Grow your business with their digital advertising at Meyers Enterprises. Eastis Media. You talk about bringing big-time coverage to small-town sports, the voice of the Pratt High Greenbacks. And our newest sponsor of the show, it is Visit Salina, Big City Lights, Small-Town Love. Visit Salina. So big shout-out to Visit Salina, and you talk about the things that they're doing and growing that community. It's just a booming spot, because as a broadcaster who has covered probably now, hundreds of games throughout my career, going to different broadcasts and throughout the state, you kind of formulate a list of your favorite towns and your favorite cities that you like to go to. And Salina is always on my list. And it's got that, their slogan says, big city lights, small town love, that it's easy to get around, but has everything that you could possibly want, at least in my opinion, because it has, the food options are endless. Accommodations, hotels are great. So if you got overnight stays for sporting events, great. And then it has the entertainment part. Because you got the district eat and play, the alley, of course, Rolling Hills Zoo is nearby, and the list can go on. And they just got done hosting the Class 4A state wrestling tournaments this past weekend there in Salina. So it goes on and on. So you talk about the great spots in Kansas that just has everything that you could ask for, but still doesn't feel overwhelmingly big, like as far as getting around. Like Salina is just one of those perfect towns for me. So big thanks to Visit Salina coming on board here with Kansas Sports Chatter. You make sure you check them out. And of course, if you got a big sporting events coming up for the summer and the future that you want to host in Salina, it's got to be one of your destinations. All right, we are going to take a break in the show. When we come back, Scott Paske, a staff writer for KSHSAA Covered, he was able to cover the state swim meets for the boys' side of things in the Kansas City area last month. To recap that event and some of the milestones that took place at State Swim.
Before the big game even starts, you have to find the perfect place to compete, work as a team, find success, and have fun. Finding the right place to meet all your needs can be challenging. That's why Salina strives to provide a winning experience. Our community in the heart of Kansas has fantastic facilities to play, eat, be entertained, and compete for the trophy. Bringing teams and families together has never been easier when you visit Salina.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator, all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
Story time is upon us here on Kansas Sports Chatter, one of my favorite parts of the show because KSHSAA and the staff writers there do a phenomenal job of just making it really, really easy, keeping up what's going on throughout the entire state in a number of sports and all sports. And Scott Paske, one of those writers joining us here on the show, and going to recap some swimming. And I got to apologize, Scott, especially for the show, I've never been to a state swim meet. So for you being able to cover that in Kansas City earlier for the boys side of things, what's the scene like? What's the atmosphere like for state swim?
Yeah, it's they're just kind of a constant din of noise that you're in a noise chamber basically, and a lot of yelling, a lot of good camaraderie among teammates, and they're standing poolside and yelling for their friends when they're in the pool, and it's a good atmosphere. I'm an old swim dad, so it's an atmosphere I've been exposed to for several years, and so I always enjoy when the boys and girls state championships roll around. It's a fun atmosphere, and this state really is every year produces a handful of really good swimmers who are fun to watch, and sometimes it didn't happen so much this time around, but you get a run sometimes where meet records will start falling and the crowd really gets into it. It's a pretty good atmosphere for sure.
And obviously swimming is geared, and there's some outliners, but geared more towards the bigger cities. You got the Kansas City schools, the Wichita schools, maybe some of the Topeka schools. It's kind of cool. I was just looking through the standings, and I saw Heston on there, Clearwater, southeast of Salina. How much are those programs? I don't know how much you know about them, but are kind of hanging on to their swim teams.
Yeah, well, what you get in a lot of cases with smaller schools is you'll find a swimmer. On the girls' side, a really good state swimmer goes to high school at Norwich. Well, Norwich doesn't have a swim team or a pool, so there's a lot of cooperatives that go into it. Norwich has formed one with campus, and then there's been other schools that a lot of times what KSHSAA does is they'll have those schools Heston will compete with Newton or has done that in co-ops, and those teams will compete for the bigger school during the regular season. What KSHSAA has them do at the postseason is they branch off and they represent their own school. So that's where you add, particularly that 5 through 1A meet. I think there were 43 schools represented, and that's kind of cool. I mean, you had a swimmer from Bennington, which I'm not sure how many swimmers Bennington has produced over its history, but it's kind of cool that like you said, that those small schools can be a part of that, and maybe not. They're not going to go there to win a state title or a team title or anything like that, but they at least get to compete at the highest level, which is really cool.
Well, someone that did win a state title, 6A, back on top, Shawnee Mission East, looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's they end a 3-year run that Blue Valley North had had gone or had put together. And then, Shawnee Mission East is no upstart by any stretch. In fact, that was their 18th team title in boys swimming over the course of history, and that's the most by any school in the state. It's a tremendous program. They're never too far away from first, and they were able to get that done in 6A, and then down in 5 through 1A. Right now, we've kind of got one of those dynasties. There's been a lot of dynasties that have kind of emerged over time and over the years in high school swimming. I mean, it seems like a lot of these schools won't just win one once they get going. They'll win 3, they'll win 4, they'll win 5. And Shawnee Mission East has done it. Blue Valley North has done it. Way back in the day, Coffeyville was one that won several in a row, and Wichita East has won 14 team titles. But yeah, Shawnee Mission East wins its 18th. That's the most in any program. But Andover wins its 4th overall and its 4th consecutive. And they've just got a really good thing going right now. A lot of quality swimmers, and they've mixed them. There seems to be an equal mix of seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, and they've really kind of found the formula for perpetuating that success, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because, I mean, it's one thing to, okay, yeah, you've won 4 straight, maybe you kind of eked one out, but, like, they're dominant. Like, they're really good. Yeah,
in fact, of the 4 they've won, this one recently was the most dominant. They won by over 150 points, and both Shawnee Mission East and Andover brought the most state qualifiers to the meet, which that, common sense tells you, well, they're going to be a favorite if they have the most qualifiers. Each school brought 19, and that just shows you it kind of works that way at the state track meet in a lot of ways too. Whoever can fill every event, ultimately is the team that has the success. And what Andover's done. Not every school has divers. Andover in recent years here has had some divers come along and participate, and they piled up the points in that diving event, and that all counts toward that team score. And that's one way they were able to separate and really have a dominant victory.
Well, I mean, looking at your recap story on KSHSAA.com, I mean, it seemed like Lewisburg held their own despite, very limited numbers.
Yeah, they really proved that you don't need to fill the bus, so to speak, to make a big splash. Pardon the pun.
I like it.
At a state swim meet. But yeah, Lewisburg last year had 4 swimmers, and they finished 7th in 5 through 1A. That was a pretty good accomplishment there. But this year they had a really good group, a really good quartet that's even more experienced, and added a swimmer who was just dominant. And their group of Colin Brown and Casey Carpenter-Ross, Andrew Jamison, and Noah Sharp, those 4 guys combined to finish 3rd in the team competition and walked off the podium, those 4 guys with a team trophy, which was really cool. And not just – they didn't just score points. They set the lone meet record in the 5 through 1A meet. They set that in the 200 medley relay, and then Carpenter Ross comes back and he wins the 50-yard freestyle, the 100-yard freestyle swims to earn the swimmer of the meet for 5 through 1A. So those 4 guys really, wasn't quantity, but it was definitely quality for the Wildcats.
Any other individual performers? Maybe it wasn't the dominant teams like, Andover, Shawnee Mission East, but any of those 2 classifications where, an individual stood out to you?
Yeah, in 6A, I'd point to Maize's Zach Reif, who was the swimmer of the meet for the 6A meet. He's a kid who's going to go to the University of Nebraska Omaha, and he won the 100 and 200 freestyles for the 2nd straight year. Had a great battle in the 100 freestyle with Brian Branstrom from Olathe Northwest, who Brian's dad, Joel, played basketball at the University of Kansas and is built just like his dad, long and lean and really built for swimming. But Reif, an outstanding swimmer who really put his stamp on the 6A meet. And then down in 5 through 1A, I'd lift up Eisenhower's Dylan Patterson, who he performed a really unique feat. Last year, he shared the 50-yard freestyle title with Winfield's Corbin Cooington, won that event as a co-winner, and then won the 100 freestyle as well. This year, he changed gears to go into the 200 and 500 freestyle. So I'd kind of liken that, maybe, I don't know, to take a Usain Bolt winning the 100 meters at the Olympics and then coming back and running the 10K or something like that. It may not be that extreme, but,
right.
but that's kind of the challenge that Patterson tackled and was able to do it. He after winning the 50 and 100 last year, wins the 200 and 500 this year. And like Reif, he's a swimmer at Wichita Swim Club, which that's a renowned program down in the Wichita area. Has produced a lot of quality swimmers. And I was asking Dylan about his 500 victory, just a strategy, because he was competing against another Wichita Swim Club swimmer, Andover's Clark Young. Those two were kind of battling it out for the title, and Dylan lifted up that he had talked with Ron Nugent, who, if you're a historian of Kansas sports, Ron Nugent was a 1980 U.S. Olympian. He was a great swimmer at Wichita East High School, went on to the University of Kansas and swam there, and then swam at SMU, was an American record holder in a distance freestyle event. But these Wichita Swim Club kids don't just have access to good training; they get these access to an Olympian like Ron Nugent, or an Olympian like Caroline Bruce McAndrew, who swam at the 2004 Athens Games. But anyway, Patterson was telling me that he had talked to Ron Nugent, the 80 U.S. Olympian, who didn't compete in the Olympics because of the Moscow boycott. But Ron had given him some advice in the 500 free about, when you kind of get right over that midway point, you let the guys know that they're swimming for second and third, and that's kind of where he made his break. So, the Wichita Swim Club really is kind of an organization that has put its stamp on high school swimming in Kansas, and it certainly did again this year. With Rife and Patterson and other swimmers at Andover and Cape Mount Carmel, which was the runner-up at 5A, just really put its stamp on high school swimming.
Scott, keep up the good work. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it, Cole. Thank you very much.
That is Scott Paske, one of the staff writers for Acacia Covered. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. Back at it here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest, and that is going to be the Blue Valley North girls basketball coach, as Ann Fritz joining us here on the program. Hey, Coach, appreciate your time. That finish line is near. Like, you can see the finish line now at least for the regular season. Like, what is this time of the year like for you as a coach?
Well, we're just trying to get ready for the grind of the EKL. A lot of great teams in the EKL, and we got them all coming up. So I'm looking forward to those challenges.
You talk about the EKL, and obviously, it's just good year in and year out. But for you, what is it like just competing in that and just all the Kansas City area schools?
I think it's a good way to, February makes us better. We got to go into every game and be, at a high level and play well. And, we're not going to get any nights off. So it makes us better. And, we're still trying to play our best basketball here this time of year.
So you mentioned trying to play your best basketball. What have you seen from your team so far? What do you like?
Well, we have some young players, and, they've really grown over the season. And, a couple of our seniors have been through it, for 4 years this time of year. So their leadership, we're really asking them to step up with their leadership, and they've done a good job, Tatum and Gabby.
What's it like bringing those younger players up through, Blue Valley North, and how much experience they get, but that process of kind of, getting their feet wet?
Yeah. Well, we had a few sophomores that, suited up with us last year, but didn't get much playing time and have a lot bigger roles. Evie Kincaid, Caroline Woods, Macy Schwaring, a lot bigger roles this year, Maeve O'Rourke. And then, Harper, who just looks forward to coming to practice every day and works hard. She's really lifts us up too and provides leadership as a freshman.
So what type of things are you trying to clean up at this time of the year?
It's always something. From day to day, we're still, just the basic fundamentals, defense and, just trying to stay positive and, do the little things and, all the fundamental stuff are still so important this time of year. And then you also got to make some adjustments and, still add a few things that you want to add late in the season.
You talk about, trying to implement new things throughout the year. Do you have a process okay, at this point of the year, in January, I'm going to do this, and in February, I'm going to add this? Is there a kind of a structure to how much you want to add?
No, not really. I think it just depends on the team and the girls. And but, this year may be a little bit different because we have so many new players. But, it's a really intelligent, smart group. I mean, our team GPA is a 4.2. They all have straight A's and they pick up things really quick. So we're just keep throwing more at them.
So there's no excuses for like not knowing the playbook or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. But it seems like there's always one person that, kind of has a brain freeze or something. But, we're trying to get through that.
And Fritz joining us here, head coach of the Blue Valley North girls basketball team. Year 30 for you. Like you talk about, now spanning 3 decades of your career. Go back to, the mid 1990s when you first arrived. Like, what was that experience like for you taking over the program?
Well, I had a lot more energy, I guess. I mean, it was a lot different back in the 90s and even the 2000s and even the early 20s, around COVID. Over the years, things have changed a lot, but it's still great people. And, that's been the best thing about it, just relationships and the people. And, I still keep in touch with people in the 1995 and early 2000s and, pop up, and I still talk to parents and meet out for dinner. And, that's been the best part of it.
What was it like though, especially, early on in your career at Blue Valley North, like kind of putting your stamp on the program and continuing to add to the tradition there at Blue Valley North? But what was it like just trying to create your own thing?
I think the biggest thing coming in was just making it competitive and, getting the girls to compete. And, you still do that every day. I mean, you just got to have that, do whatever it takes to win. And I'm a competitive person, and I think the girls know that over the years, and just try to get them to match my intensity and of wanting to win. And, that's kind of what it's been about.
Well, I feel like, we've done a few interviews with folks that are, now playing at the next level. And I keep running into all these Blue Valley North, girls that are, going on and playing at the next level. It's been exciting for you as a coach. Like, how much pride is it just to see, the players that you coached in high school having success at the next level?
Just pride, just that the girls can go on and do what they want to do. If, they want an opportunity to go play at the next level, and put in that work, awesome. Some of them, just use it as a life lesson. I've been fortunate to, use the sport of basketball to help the girls be successful in life. The success stories are even my own daughter who, played sports in high school, soccer and basketball. And, she had to work to get through nursing school. And I really think the lessons she learned in high school with athletics, really helped her in her career now. And kind of that's what I see now. So many of the girls, even married, have families, have children, and they're bringing their young girls around, and nice. Just seeing the success and just how much of an opportunity basketball provided for them.
How important is it for you to kind of keep that alumni close and kind of invested into that program and still kind of feel like they have a beat in it?
I mean, they do. I mean, I love seeing them around, and, like over the holidays, we had a clinic, and a lot of them, there were probably 5 of them, but brought their daughters up to the clinic, and, it's great seeing them. And the players now playing now here, even like seeing the alumni come and, just the history of it. And it's special, and, it's just been a great community.
Do you guys have an alumni game? I feel like that'd be a pretty competitive game.
We occasionally do, but everyone's kind of spread all over and, raising their families. And, I know what that's all about, trying to be a working mom and raise kids. And, they all get up here when they can and stop by, and it's great seeing them. But, we have alumni come up and over the holidays and a little bit here and there, but not anything real official.
Talking with Ann Fritz, head coach of the Blue Valley North girls basketball team. Did you always want to be a coach? Was that always something that was on your mind?
I did. My dad was a professional football coach. We came to Kansas City because he came with the Chiefs. And I don't know. I just always would sit around watching, the college football games with him. And it just, it's always been a part of my life.
Playing at Nebraska, what was the experience like, and what you take from up north?
It was a lot of hard work and some really good people up there, but nothing like the kids have it today. But it was good. Go Big Red. They're, having a great season, both the men and women. And it's a great place to go to college.
Did you have an idea, like, like what point did, like, like in high school, did you realize, okay, yeah, I'm good enough and I can go compete at, and play at a place like Nebraska?
No, not really. I don't know. I didn't commit to like the summer of my senior year. I don't know. It just, like all these high school kids, you don't really think that far down the road. It's kind of just right what's ahead of you.
Taking that experience, though, playing, collegiate basketball, like what were some of the things that stood out that you learned in college, whether it's through your coach or just, the playing experience, and then kind of taking it over into now your coaching career?
Just the competitiveness and the drive and the hard work, and also the commitment. It's a lot of time. You sacrifice a lot. Even these kids do, and their families, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You go into these long weekends, Martin Luther King and President's Day weekend, and then a spring break. So, a lot of families sacrifice their holidays, staying local and everything just because of how the basketball schedule is.
Going back to that tradition, Blue Valley North now, like for you, how much pride do you take in just kind of continuing to build that up and just to, I guess, maintain it? Like once you get to that top and, obviously you've won 5 state championships and one last year, like trying to keep yourself there, I guess, like how tough is that? It's just trying to maintain. I
mean, the kids like last year kind of made an imprint on the kids this year. And, even the classroom, they're trying to keep the straight A's, but also they're trying to keep the winning tradition. So I think it just kind of carries over from group to group. And, it's always fun to win. Everybody wants to win. So, we just keep working and striving to keep the tradition alive.
That GPA is amazing. Like you said, 4.2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they give like any of the girls a hard time if they get like an A- or something?
No, it's like I just didn't even really realize it until I was just talking to everybody, and they all have straight A's. And I'm like, everybody has straight A's. It's like, it's crazy, but it's really important to them to do well in the classroom, as it should be, and that carries over to the court too. So it's a great group to be around.
Smart and athletic. Hey, Coach, appreciate the time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
That is Ann Fritz, the head coach of the Blue Valley North girls basketball team. We'll have more of the show after the break. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. Welcome back on the show. As an opportunity to get another stadium tour or gym tour as we get to take a look around the state at different high school gyms. And joining us on the show today is going to be Bradley Argabright. He is the head coach of the Labette County boys basketball team. Hey, Coach, appreciate your time. Exciting time of the year. How much fun are you having with this year's team?
Yeah, we're having a great time. I've got a group that's working really hard right now, playing with a lot of effort. And, it's a lot of kids that we had in football, too. I know we haven't got to that point yet of talking about that, but, it's a lot of kids that have just really been around our program and competed well, for the last 4 years. We've got a great senior class that's really working hard. And the leadership piece has been really good this year. We just have kids that are hungry and playing well together. So it's been a joy to coach these guys. But, we've still got a lot of goals in front of us, and we're trying to go achieve those and finish February and March in the right way.
All right, you bring up football. I had Sean Fry, who's sports manager, sports editor for Chanute Tribune and the Parsons Sun, and he said you might be in the running for the busiest guy in the entire state. Head football coach, head basketball coach, and then running track as well. How do you keep things straight throughout the year?
Yeah, it's just focusing on the sport at hand. The little bits and pieces, kind of where you have to do equipment and all that. That's kind of, stuff you kind of have to do in the meantime. But really for me, it's just focusing on the sport at hand, really making sure that I'm giving the effort to that sport, and then giving my time. When we're in that sport, we're in that sport. That's what I always tell our kids. Same with them. I tell them all the time, if I can coach 3 sports, you can play 3 sports and, come out and do all those things. So, it's just making sure that we're focused on the job at hand, not getting too far ahead and just being in the moment.
And it's worked out really well. A lot of success there at Labette County. All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and let you flip your camera around here as we get rolling with this tour. Labette County, like I've always seen the pictures. I've always seen some of the videos and the highlights. Just one of the, in my opinion, one of the more historic gyms out there in the state.
Yeah, as I'm panning around here, this core Harrison Gymnasium was built in the 50s and really hasn't changed. You can see the architect up top. It's just a gorgeous gym. We've updated the windows in the last couple years. We've got a tremendous maintenance staff here at Labette County High School that really make this. But a lot of the artwork's been here a long time, and the best part about this gym is how loud it gets. When the band gets going, our band's up there up top. When they get going and we get this place filled up, it's a lot of fun to play in. Just a very historic place. A lot of good basketball games have been played in here, and I'm just happy, to be here and be a part of it.
Any games that stand out to you during your career, or even ones that you watched before?
I'm not from here. I'm actually from Olpe, Kansas. But when coaching wise, we won a sub-state game here 4 years ago. That was a huge win for us. But I know that back in the, see if I can find it here, back in the 2000s, we got second place in 2000 here at Labette County High School, led by Ryan O'Daffer that year, and that was Coach Smith and that crew. I got a coach under Coach Smith when I first started here for 2 years, which really gave me a history of Labette County basketball and what it means. He was here for 30 years. I've been here now for 10 years, so there hasn't been a lot of turnover here. We've had 3 coaches in the last, since about 1980. We've had 3 coaches. Just a lot of history here, and when people get here, they stay here. It's just a great community.
All right, so I realize you play the majority of your games at night. So, those windows, though, I feel like are just so cool. Is there any opportunities, I guess, to play in the afternoon or the daytime where you can see that light coming in?
It's always been one of those things. We never have. We've never played in here. It's 10 a.m. right now. We've never played an afternoon game in here, not since I've been here.
Sure.
Like a tournament game. We don't host a tournament, so we haven't had any day games. I would love a day game. I've always thought that getting a day game with us in Parsons and getting both those communities here during the day and our students here would be a great atmosphere. But for the most part, no, we have not played any day games. But it would be a lot of fun to play with that in the windows in here.
I think like any community coach, high school gyms are well used, but I got to imagine this one in Labette County, that's got to be a well used facility.
Yeah. We use this for wrestling. We use it for all of our basketball, volleyball. We just built a new gym where our volleyball is kind of playing at, but they still practice in here. And then all of our PE classes are in here as well. We don't have class right now, but we're about to. And, when we do that, our kids are, we run stair laps in here. We've done that for years. And you're right. It gets a lot of use. Our junior high programs use it. Our little league programs use it. And, it's a special place.
All right. Where is the main concourse area? Where do you first come into the facility?
Yeah, let's go out here. We'll start right from the start here.
Get the true fan experience.
Yeah, here. I got you. So, when we come out here, we just actually upgraded our awning here.
Okay.
So we had an old awning, and so this is our campus out in front of us, and then here's the entrance to our gym.
Nice. Okay, that is nice.
We just updated that.
Look at the big grizzly out there too.
Yeah. We just got that one up. Like I said, our maintenance guys they just do a really nice job. Our theater's right here, and we'll go in there too. But here's the main entrance, and then when you get in here, we've got our state placing plaques, and then on the back side here, we've got our 1,000-point score balls.
How many you got here?
We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. 14 that have scored 1,000 points. Our highest scorer that's the head coach at Pittsburgh right now is Tristan Gegg. Shout out. Yeah. Great player for us. She had 2,290 points. One of the great scorers in Kansas history. So, we've had some great players through here. And then, we go through here. Our theater's right here, our concession stand. And then, we love Labette County High School. We've got our Grizzlies all over the place. We've got all of our state champion placers in all sports individuals on the wall here.
Okay.
And then here's our most recent ones.
Is there a full-size grizzly anywhere? Because I know, like, when I go to Butler Community College, they got, like, a statue of full-size grizzly. Do you guys have
We
anything
actually
like
have
that?
a grizzly, and actually right where I'm standing is where it was. And then it was an actual grizzly, one that's stuffed. And
Sure.
that's probably the biggest one we got right there.
Okay. I
But,
like it.
yeah. And then out the back here's our gym right there to our left. And then out the back here, we just built a new gym.
Oh, wow.
And we just built this facility.
So what does this use? Did you mention volleyball?
This is our volleyball gym. So the gym we were just in Harrison, it doesn't have air conditioning. And because of that, we built this gym. In the fall, it's always hot. So, our volleyball goes in here to the new gym. And then right out the back, there is our football field. So, we've got everything right here, accessible, for what we need. And we have tremendous facilities right now at Labette County High School.
All right, so where do you guys come out of locker rooms? You don't take me in the locker room, but where do you guys come out? Where's your locker rooms at?
Yeah, I'll walk right to it here. So when we come out of here, right here is our a visiting team, and then our locker room is right here in front of us.
How about student section? Where are they located?
Student section's right across from us.
Okay.
Our bench. We're kind of different. We have our bench on the left, so they're straight across from us. Yeah, most of the time it's on the right, but our locker room's right here.
There we go.
If I get some lights on.
Nice. Okay. Man, good setup. All right, so you mentioned some of the better games. What's maybe the loudest that you've heard at that gym?
Oh, I would say most definitely a Parsons game. Always, those games are huge rivalries for us. And when it's packed, it's just always loud. But our sub-state games, our girls' game last year, our sub-state girls' game, it was tremendously loud. We kind of got our basketball kids in there. We've kind of got what we've done at the state tournament, our SEK, and then we just kind of have some quotes around. But when we come out this door right here, and then we make a tunnel and out we come. So, just like I said, it's a great place to be, a great place to coach, and we've got great kids, and our facilities are just top notch.
I was talking to McPherson coaches, the Kinnemans, and they were talking about certain theme music they have when they come out to the gym, and I think the boys team from McPherson has like the Hot Stuff song. Do you guys have a specific song that you come out to?
We actually come out to "Blind" by Korn. We don't let the words start, but we like that. That's kind of a football thing. That and "Hell's Bells" by AC/DC. That's two of our staples here that we like to run out to.
Can't go wrong with that. Hey, Coach, appreciate the time and the insight to your gym.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Proud to be a Labette County Grizzly. Thank you for talking about our program and what we have going on here at Labette County High School.
It's looking good. Keep up the good work. That's Bradley Argabright, head coach of the Labette County boys basketball team with our stadium tour. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. Moving right along here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest, and that is going to be Scott Goering. He's head coach of the Pretty Prairie girls basketball team. And Coach, thanks for the time. I mean, man, what's been so good for your team this year? We see the record, but what's been so strong about your team this year?
Our energy and effort have been really good this year. Defensively, we press a lot. We have good depth, and so we're pretty relentless defensively, just bringing in new people and keep attacking. And so we had some injuries last year and things like that, and they're all back and healthy this year. So just that improvement from one year to the next, but just the intensity on defense and the rebounding and things like that have really been good for us this year. So.
Have you always been a coach that likes to press, or have you always just kind of catered that to, I guess, how much depth you have?
Yeah, for sure. The first couple of years, we were a little deeper than we were the last couple here. So we have actually not pressed very much the last few. I've always wanted to press, but like you said, it has to do with personnel more than anything. And so this year when we got back healthy and got those kids back, we were able to do a lot more with the press this year. So
any specifics with your press and what makes it so special? Because, I know there's a lot of folks that like to press, but, and everyone's a little bit different. So what stands out about your press?
It is a little bit different. I actually got it from a different coach this summer, talking to him, and just kind of some interesting, some man principles with some zone locked in there, and then just who I have and what position has a lot to do with how effective it is. I've got my big girl in the back that kind of rim protects for it, so when they do break it, they still have to go score over her, and then kind of just some of that man around zone principle, just kind of modify it to what I need it to do for the team we're playing. So
what's the transition? So, say a team does break it at least past half court. What's the transition for your defense like? Do you fall back man to man? What's your usual typical process, or you still like that same pressure even in the half court?
We do lots of different things out of it. A lot of times we'll still trap one or two times after they come across half court, trying to just see if we can get them in a bad spot still after that press. And then we've done different things. We'll drop to a man-to-man, just pressure defense, just normal man-to-man, just get back to yours after they do break the press. And every once in a while, we'll drop to a zone where we just know right where we're going, things like that. So we just do different things out of it.
Do you have a goal in mind, for your defense as far as points allowed, that you want? Because I noticed I was looking through your schedule. I think there's only 2 games where opponents scored 50 or more on you guys. Other than that, you've had a lot of really good, low point totals. Do you have a goal in mind?
Yes. Really, I want to keep people less than 30. That's kind of our goal, is to keep them less than 30. Because offensively, we think if we can hold a team to less than 30 points, we have a really good chance to beat them. So we've done lots of different things, but usually we try and keep them somewhere in that 30 or less range. So
a lot of wins on that total this year. But you look at those 2 games against Buckland and Central Christian, both went over 50. What'd you learn from those 2 teams? Obviously really good teams, but what'd you learn from those 2 games?
Yeah, that Buckland game early in the season, we just hadn't really established who we were yet. We're so young. We have just the 1 senior, 2 juniors, and then 8 sophomores playing for us. So we hadn't really established who we were, and our press was just trying to figure stuff out. And so and they're very talented. They have 6 seniors or something, and they broke the press really well against it, and we didn't adjust it good enough probably against them. And so they scored more out of the press than most of the teams have. And Central Christian kind of the same way. Central Christian we just shot the ball so horrible in the second half. It led to runouts more, and we couldn't get our press set up because we just shot really, really bad, which is basketball sometimes. Sometimes the ball just doesn't go in. So yeah. I think we ended up shooting less than 20%, and their defense is good too. And so it caused us into some tough shots maybe, but we just missed so many shots. We couldn't get our press really set up against them. So
you mentioned a couple girls, that were injured the year before. What have you noticed, especially, just in any girls or any athletes that, coming back from the injury, how have you seen them kind of progress, post injury?
Yeah. They were both ACL problems, so we just didn't know how they would come back. And so they've worked really hard though. They just worked really hard trying to get back. They knew they really, really wanted to play this year. So they just worked so hard. Now they're back, pretty much back to normal. Those first few weeks, there was some hesitation. There was some see what's going to happen, but now they don't really think about it much anymore. And so they're just back to flying around doing what they've been doing. So,
the success that you guys had throughout your program, but specifically this year, like, have you noticed like it's hard to think about anything else? Cause I remember like when you're having something that's having a lot of success and you're doing well, like it's hard to focus on any other thing. So you're just so excited about, continuing and seeing where it goes. Have you noticed that with this year's team?
Yeah. I mean, this year's team has been excited to get in the gym. They stay late, they come early, and like there's just excitement around it. Like they've had success. These sophomores were really successful in middle school. Last year we were fine last year, but losing those two pieces kind of hurt. But this year, as it started, and we beat a really good team in the first. We beat two really good teams to start the season, and then we've just grown throughout the year, and like there's just been more and more excitement, more and more confidence. I mean, just slowly but surely we're growing that confidence, because these sophomores they're hesitant to be confident. I mean, it just drives me nuts, but like they just struggle with their confidence because they just aren't sure that they're good enough yet, or they're old enough to be good and things like that. But they're proving it to themselves. They proved it to most other people, but they're slowly proving it to themselves, where I guess the hardest thing to do for them. So
yeah, like how many games do they have to win before they start getting confident, right?
That's what I keep telling them. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, and like we've lost two teams, and I think they were at some point in this season they were number 1 and number 2 in the state in that division too. So like we've lost to really good teams, the teams that we haven't even lost to. So yeah, they're figuring it out though. They're figuring out their confidence and their roles and things like that. So
Scott Goering joining us here, head coach of the Pretty Prairie girls basketball team. You mentioned the growth, and like how much have you? What has grown over the season? Is it just more of just polishing the things that you guys are already doing back in November, or anything new that you've added?
Nothing really new. We just finally have figured out what we do. Offensively, we were really pretty poor early in the season against a set defense. We just didn't. We attacked too early and didn't make the right pass at the right time. And just we're learning things, taking the right shot. And later in the year here, we've really, like against the set defense on a zone, we've really moved the ball really well. We've shot it when we need to, but we get it inside out. We attack the zones pretty good now. And then the man, we're more patient. We set stuff up and we create help. And if we can create help, we let our partner score. And like, they're so unselfish, maybe too unselfish at some points, but we have a few girls that average right around 10, but we don't have anybody that averages close to 20. So like we distribute the ball really well, and we've started taking really good shots and moving the ball really well against defense. And so if we can score in transition a little bit, that helps, but just offensively, we've just settled in and played a lot better offense here late in the season.
Scott, being from Pretty Prairie, like just how much excitement do you have, being able to coach there and obviously having the success that you've had?
Yeah. I mean, it's just almost the best thing ever, right? I mean, you get to come home and take a team that when I was in high school just wasn't very good. I mean, we were average. I mean, we weren't good, but we were average. And then I came back, and there was just so much talent here when I came back. So when I took over 8 years ago, we made sub-state finals my first year, and then had a few years where we were good, but we didn't know it yet. And so then 2022 came, and we finally figured out, yeah, we're really good, and really had a good run that year. And the next year we had a great run too. We were ranked top 5 in the state and ran into a tough sub-state, things like that. And then it fell off just a little bit the last couple of years. We weren't bad, but just maybe a lack of talent, maybe as much as anything. But effort was there and things like that. But then just that excitement back for this year. We got everybody back healthy, and like it's just been really exciting again. So
being able to win that state title in 2022, like from a coach's perspective, like what does it take? Like, the talent has got to be there, but like to win a state title, I feel like it takes more than the talent. Like, what was that season like?
Yeah. it was a crazy season, really. I mean, we knew coming into that year we would be really good, but we weren't sure how good. We hadn't even made the state tournament yet with that group. They lost in the championship twice in sub-state and things like that. And so we hadn't even made the state tournament. And so it just took a different mindset going in. We lost in the middle of that season. And from that loss on, there was an attitude change of that's not going to happen again, really. I mean, practice changed, attitudes changed, effort changed. Everything became a little more focused, a little more intense. And it proved to me like, yes, not only are we talented, but now we have the effort and energy to go with it. So like comparing that to this year, I think the effort and the energy is there. It's just we're not sure yet. The confidence isn't there. And so I like even with my own coaching and stuff, like I figured out, man, I know what it takes to win that state championship, to win that title. And like we are close again. Like we have the energy and the effort and the talent again in the gym. We just got to find the confidence to do it. So
it's a good feeling and a good time of the year. Hey, Coach, I appreciate your time and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That is Scott Goering, head coach of the Pretty Prairie girls basketball team. We'll have more of the show right after the break.
Referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. These men and women take time out of their lives to ensure a safe and fair environment for student athletes. As you attend sporting events this year, keep in mind the hard work and dedication of the officials. Respecting officials and authority figures is one of the most valuable lessons that we can teach our students. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team would like to thank all those who take the time to officiate our competitions.
Time now for our next level talents, an opportunity to talk to former high school athletes from Kansas that are now competing at a college or university in the state of Kansas. And our next guest is Mason Belcher, a member of the University of St. Mary men's basketball team and out of Maize High School. Hey, Mason, appreciate you coming on the show. For you, like as a senior, like what does that mean for you being a senior in college now?
I mean, it's felt like a long journey at this point. I mean, being here in the same program for 4 years, I mean, I've definitely seen a lot, gone through a lot. As a senior at this point, you know, it just feels a little surreal, but I mean, best I can do is lead my guys and share my experiences with my teammates and my younger teammates to make sure that we carry it on in the right path once I'm gone.
How much more comfort does that bring you just being, you know, in your fourth year at St. Mary, like compared to, you know, go back 4 years ago?
I mean, just being a senior, like with my game, like I know I've been here, I've been doing this a long time, so I feel like a lot more comfortable against who I'm going against, yada 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 stuff with that. I mean, as a freshman when I got here, I knew my role was to shoot and pretty much that, and I feel like as time's gone on, I've been able to expand that role and do some other things.
What are some of those other things that you've been able to kind of expand your game in college?
I think personally, like my biggest thing is like I've worked on my guarding, because when I first got here, like defense, that was probably my biggest weakness point. So I had my coaches in my ear on that, worked on getting better at that, and just a little bit more of that physical side of the game.
Anything that stands out as far as advice to get better at defense that has helped you out at the collegiate level?
I mean, being quick with the feet, always move those feet, and then watch them shoulders. That's going to tell you where people are going, not that ball.
You go back to Maize. Like, what was it growing up and competing in the Maize program?
I mean, before I got there to Maize, they hadn't really done much with the basketball program. And then once I got there and a few other guys that were there with me, we were able to have some good success there. We won a state championship my junior year, and we took third my senior year. So, I mean, it was just a great experience. I got to play with great players, great athletes. Some don't even play basketball no more, just some other sports. But, yeah, I mean, Maize is just great coaching, great players, great people. And it's made it easy.
What stood out about that junior year and that state championship you guys were able to win in 2021? Anything that stands out about that team?
I mean, we just obviously had some dogs. I mean, a bunch of D1 guys for other sports, Avery Johnson, Jaden Gustafson. We got some Kyle Grill. We had Jacob Hanna, who was at Washburn last year. We just were honestly really loaded, and that made it easy to play together. Just we'd all been playing together for a long time too, so we all meshed together well. The ball found each other, and no one was ever really mad if someone else was taking the shot, stuff like that.
What are the rivalries like in the Wichita area? Like, what is it like, being from Maize and playing to say like Maize South?
Yeah, Maize South is obviously always that big one, same city and everything. We always had one with campus too. That was kind of one that no one really thought about or expected, but being two of the top two teams in that Wichita area, we were always going at it with campus, and that was always a fun one. So
at what point in your high school career did you kind of realize that you wanted to play college basketball? Was that always a hope?
So I was always a baseball player growing up. I played since I was 3 years old all the way through high school, and then I started playing basketball in 7th grade. Worked on it. I was in the gym all the time, always going to the YMCA after school and stuff like that. So I think once I hit that sophomore year and I really saw that jump between my freshman year and my sophomore year, just seeing what I could really do and seeing how the game was coming a little bit more naturally to me, I think that's when I really changed that mindset. And then, yeah.
So any possibility you'll lace up the cleats and go to baseball someday?
Probably not.
No?
Okay. I'm a little too old for that at this point. But, it's definitely always been a thought or a want to be able to do every once in a while. So
choosing the University of St. Mary to play basketball, what went into that thought process for you?
I'd say the recruiting process. Coach Brown recruited me personally. And so just seeing that head coach recruit me, felt like he really wanted me here. He traveled and watched me play a couple of times. He watched me play in Iowa and KC in my AAU and stuff like that when I was playing for Mocan. So, yeah, just the recruiting process and making me feel like it was going to be a home here really is what ultimately made me make that decision.
Making that jump from high school to college, I know there's some obvious differences, but what were some of the welcome to college basketball moments for you, like that freshman year? Anything that stands out?
I mean, definitely like what Reek was saying, that speed of the game is definitely a lot faster up here in the college level. You got to be a lot more aware of what you're doing the next play, stuff like that. But I feel like I was around basketball enough and around the right people in my college or my high school in my early days that I had like an early jump on being able to understand some things. So I feel like that made it easier for me to make that adjustment and that transfer from high school to college.
Who are some of the best players that you've faced so far in your years at St. Mary?
Some of my best players. Thatcher McClure back at Tabor was really good my freshman and sophomore year. He was always one that I was going against, being my same age, being a freshman when I came in. He's one that I've always remembered. And then, honestly, June Murdoch from K-Dub, that he had that ball on the string. He always made the right play. I'd probably say those are probably two of the top guys from a couple different positions that we've seen.
Mason, appreciate the time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
That is Mason Belcher, a member of the University of St. Mary's basketball team and out of Maize High School for our next level talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. That, my friends, is a jam-packed show. Big thanks to all of our guests for coming on the program. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. Help out Kansas Sports Chatter that way as we continue to grow this show, our statewide high school sports entertainment show. Big thanks to some of our sponsors, Wheatland Electric, headquarters in Scott City, serving 14 Kansas counties. SPX LED video walls. They build and install LED video walls for indoor environments like your high school gym. And Barton Community College, always enrolling. Check out all their classes that are available at bartonccc.edu. We are done for today's program. Back at it. Of course, shows coming out Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube. Thanks for joining us, everybody.